Genesis chapter 5 acts as a tragic ledger, meticulously tracking humanity's descent from the ideal conditions of Eden down into strict physical mortality. The text begins by reminding us that God created man in his own likeness. But 130 years later, a stark shift occurs. Adam begets his son Seth in his own flawed, mortal image. The perfection of the garden is already gone. These early patriarchs carry immense vitality, living for 8 or 9 centuries. Yet these millennium-long lifespans eventually collide with the reality of human decay. We are watching the unbroken inheritance of the Edenic curse, passed from father to son, generation after generation. This diagram highlights the mathematical formula used for every patriarch, like an algorithm: a name, the age they fathered a son, remaining years, and total lifespan. At the sequence's end, every entry terminates with the same grim words: "And he died." Faster rhythmic pace. Seth lived 912 years, and he died. Enos lived 905 years, and he died. Canaan, Mahalalel, Jared. Hundreds of years and thousands of human lives are compressed into a few relentless rhythmic verses. Ancient writers constructed this hypnotic repetition with exact purpose. By forcing the reader through the exact same sequence over and over, they establish a deep psychological baseline of expectation. When a text lulls the reader into a predictable rhythmic pattern, a sudden break in that structure demands immediate attention. Then we reach the 7th generation. A man named Enoch arrives, and the rhythm trips. Comparing Enoch's entry to the standard formula, the author replaces the verb lived with walked with God. And the ultimate anomaly, that heavy phrase, "and he died," vanishes entirely. Instead, the text reads, "He was not, for God took him." For the first time in human history, someone escaped the drumbeat of mortality. After 365 years, Enoch simply steps off the conveyor belt of death. Enoch's physical departure proves that the curse of death has a loophole. It provides the reader with a single glimmer of divine salvation amidst centuries of decay. The relief is temporary. Enoch's son, Methuselah, brings the text crashing right back into the grim repetitive formula, though with a massive numerical outlier. A timeline chart compares the patriarchal lifespans, showing Methuselah's bar stretching out to a staggering 969 years, the longest recorded human life. This extreme lifespan acts as a structural timer. The tension of the pre-flood era is stretched to its absolute physical limit, forcing the reader to wait nearly a millennium for a resolution to the growing decay. Yet even with 969 years on the clock, the longest living human meets the exact same fate as his ancestors. The formula returns, and he died. We arrive at the 9th generation, Lamech. He is born into a world of harsh, thorny ground, inheriting the compounding physical toll of the exile. Lamech carries a deep generational burden. He is looking back at 9 lifetimes of relentless, punishing agricultural labor, stemming directly from Adam's original curse. As his entry begins, the math lines up perfectly. The text primes us for another standard entry of birth, toil, and a quiet death. Lamech represents the absolute physical and spiritual exhaustion of humanity. The system is buckling, and they are desperate for relief. Here, the second massive anomaly occurs. Lamech shatters the mathematical formula completely by doing something no one else has done. He speaks a full sentence. He names his son Noah, a name rooted in the word for rest or comfort. Lamech explicitly prophesies that this boy will bring relief from the cursed ground. This animated diagram charts the lineage straight down from Adam. With Lamech's singular quote, this entire list transforms from a backward-looking history into a forward-looking arrow pointing directly at Noah. The timeline then rapidly accelerates. Noah reaches 500 years old, fathers Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and the genealogical formula abruptly ends. The compounding failures of this era have reached their breaking point. The generations of Adam are about to meet a terminal event. Genesis 5 functions as a highly engineered literary bridge. It carries the reader across the tragic fallout of Eden, depositing us right at the feet of the boy who will have to survive the end of the world.